Hey, welcome into my fruit shop. What can I get you today? That's actually a really great question. It's one I get in the shop quite regularly, and I'd be happy to help you pick out the freshest fruits based on the characteristics of those fruits and when they ripen. I do think the easiest fruit to start with is the grapefruit. And that's really just because it's the easiest fruit to spot when it's ripe, because we can sense it with our touch, with our smell, and with our sight. Do need to finish wiping these off. They do have a little bit of moisture on there because I did freshly wash these this morning. I think grapefruit is one of those fruits that not everybody likes. You either like it or you don't. And I think that's because of the very strong flavors they can have. Grapefruit can be slightly sweet, a little bit floral, and can be quite acidic. But if you are in love with a grapefruit or you'd like to try it, it is very high in vitamin C and it's over 90% water. So it really does help hydrate your body. To pick out the perfect grapefruit, you'll want to choose one that is slightly red. So you'll see the blush right there, and a little bit over here. The backside may be a little bit more on the yellow or orange side, and that's fine. The deeper the red, the more intense the flavor is going to be. You should choose one that is slightly plump. So just give it a gentle squeeze. It should bounce back once released, and the skin should feel smooth to the touch. Grapefruits actually get their name because of how they grow. They actually grow in clusters the same way that grapes do as they grow on the vine. Next, we'll go on to the apples. There are actually thousands of apple varieties, but some of the same basic principles apply when picking out the ripest, most delicious, most perfect apple. You want to pick an apple that feels firm. There should be no bruising. There should be no blemishes. If the skin feels soft or mushy, it's probably best just to pick out a different apple. You'll want to give the apple a smell. It should have a slightly sweet aroma, kind of like the way an apple smells when you cut it open. You should be able to smell it through the apple itself. The vibrant color on the apples indicates that they've seen more sun and they're probably going to have a better flavor. This apple is quite beautiful. It looks like one of those apples you see on TV. You'll also want to pick one with the stem still attached, and that's because they stay fresher longer with the stem still attached. And that applies for all varieties of apples. You should really try different ones because each one does have its very own unique flavors to it. You might find one that you like if you're not really an apple person, if you just kind of branch out and just try different ones. Next, we'll go on to the pear family. Pears again come in different varieties, just like other fruits. This one is just a basic red pear. Pears are actually really interesting because they ripen from the inside out, which is why sometimes they'll feel like the perfect ripeness on the outside, but you cut them open and they're kind of mushy or a bit mealy on the inside. Most of the time when pears arrive at the store, they're actually not ripe. They're very hard, but that doesn't mean it's not a good pear. You would just leave this out on the counter to ripen, or you can put these in a closed container with a lid, or a very popular option is a paper bag. And this works with any kind of fruit that you need to ripen. You'll just place the fruit inside of the bag. You can put plums in there with it. Just roll it down a little bit, keep it closed, keep it on the counter. The reason the fruit actually ripens inside of a closed container, or ripens faster inside of a closed container, is because the fruit, as it ripens, it actually emits a gas which helps break down and ripen up the fruit. Next, we have the plum. They actually come in over 2,000 different varieties. Plums should feel plump, so just squeeze them a little bit, and they should dip in a little bit, just like the grapefruit, and then kind of bounce back. You don't want to get a plum that when you push on it, it kind of feels like there's water trapped underneath it. That's going to indicate an over-ripened plum. Their color should be uniform, and they should feel heavy in your palm. They should have a kind of slightly sweet, a little bit fruity of an aroma. It's a bit more subtle on a plum with its smell in comparison to some of the other fruits. It can be very, very subtle. Let me just get a few more of the fruits that we can go over. Next, we have the strawberry. I think this is probably one of the most popular fruits you're going to see inside of a store. Color is key. They should be a nice, bright, beautiful red. There shouldn't be too many dark spots in there. They should have a delightful floral smell. Size actually doesn't matter. They can be big, small, as long as that color is perfect and the smell is delicious, you're pretty much golden. Also, be sure that the stem is attached on this fruit in the same way that the apple is. It's just going to give you a fresher, more delicious flavor to your fruit for a longer period of time. And lastly, we have grapes. They come in different varieties. You can get seedless, you can get the ones with seeds, different colors, different shapes. They even have some delicious varieties in the flavors, such as like cotton candy. There are over 8,000 different varieties. Obviously, grapes are used in winemaking. They're also just perfect for a snack. You'll want a nice, deep, rich color. They should feel very firm and be very well attached to the stem. If they're peeling back or pulling away from the stem, they're probably a little bit over ripened. You'll also want to make sure there's no bruising or kind of just overall bad spots. That's just going to indicate probably a grape that's just a bit over ripened. And an interesting fact about grapes, this white powdery substance you'll see on grapes, it's actually a naturally occurring substance produced by the grapes themselves. And it's called bloom, B-L-O-O-M. And what it does is it just helps protect the fruit from drying out. So that way you have a nice, delicious, plump bite. So you can thank the grape for that. We also have other options here. We have wine. We have different varieties over here. We actually have a lot of different reds right now. We're currently out of the white wine. And that's just because the white wine actually pairs a little bit better with the fruit. People tend to like that sweet aroma and flavor of the white wine with the fruit. Kind of the sweet. The red, if you get the right flavors, notes, and tones inside of the red wines, you can actually pair them quite nicely with any fruit. Personally, I actually prefer a nice, dry, more mild flavored wine when pairing it with my fruits, and that's just because the fruits themselves are just sweet and wonderful, and the dry flavors inside of the red wines can actually help bring out more of the sweetness from the fruits just by the contrasting flavors, dryness with the sweet. Let me just gather a few more things. I'll get another bottle of wine and some of the cheese and fruit platters, and then we'll just talk about the wine for a little bit. I think I'll grab this one. Okay, we got this glass here. I think that this is the one the most popular that we have for sale right now. I think I'll grab this one. Then I think we'll get this fruit tray. This one's kind of nice variety out there, so I'll just gather this. So this is one of our platters. We offer different fruits, so you could just pick out the fruits that you want to present on your platter. So if you want grapefruit wedges or slices of pear, maybe little pieces of apple, just choose the one you want. You can choose 1, 2, as many as you want, and then we will design it on the platter for you. Also, you do get some of our homemade fresh baked bread. This is a French loaf. And of course, we do have cheese. The wines, as I had mentioned, we just have the reds currently. So this is one of our popular ones. This is a Merlot, and they do have fruity notes in it, but they tend to be a little bit more on the dry side. I think that this complements the fruit platters and the fruit, the cheese, quite nicely. This particular bottle of wine has ripe blueberry and blackberry, black plum, some mocha notes, and it's got a nice plush velvet finish. It pairs quite nicely with a lot of different fruits. I'll just go ahead and pour a glass. It's always nice to pair your wine with a pretty glass. So we do have this dessert wine glass. And what you would want to do is take a sip of the wine and then sample whatever fruits you want. If you want a piece of apple, cheese, take a bite of those. And then you would just follow it with a nice gulp of wine. When you do it that way, it just kind of releases some of those flavors, and it brings out not only the flavors in the wine, but also the flavors that you may not taste otherwise with the fruits. They complement each other quite nicely. You could also do the bread. Take a bite of bread and cheese and then follow it with a little bit of wine. This is a very dark wine. It's got lots of rich notes, as the bottle noted, and it just pairs very nicely with most of the fruits we sell here in our shop. We also have some other options. We have some fresh cut bread. We do bake the bread here in the store daily. That's why you probably smelled that delicious aroma when you walked in. So we have different kinds of breads. We also have some chocolate covered almonds, raisins, dates, and of course we do have a few different varieties of cheese. Cheese, wine, fruit, and then a few little sweets on the side. Of course, we can put together any kind of fruit basket for you. We can do a combination of the fruits with the wine, or the fruits with the bread, or we can just do the fruits and the cheese, or we can do all of them. Of course, just take a look around the shop, make yourself at home, and then just come up here and let me know what your final selections are. I hope that was helpful, and it was really good to talk to you. Thank you.